Okay, so now after practicing with stamping a bit, it's time to make the commitment and do the real thing on your actual project. So I've experimented with 3 different stamps. You could go with 2 if you want. I'm looking at this Coke bottle object, this broken bracelet object, and this key as some possibilities to put on my actual coiled cup. Now, you need to do a little prep work perhaps of your surface by hydrating it, sponging it down, because your container, your coil project may not be stampable at this point. So you need to get that clay softer and healthier and in a more plastic state so it will accept any of those objects that you will decide on from your house. I went with keys and bracelets, but you may have other objects that you're interested in. Now, what I want you to do first, after you kind of sponge down and rehydrate your cup, is to mark out some sections. And then each section will house a stamped effect. And I want a minimum of 2 stamped effects. You could do 3, 4, 5, whatever. Have a variety of objects. What I'm doing here is taking my pencil and I'm marking out kind of like a diamond shape now. A second ago, I went with something that looked like a candy cane lines, kind of lines moving diagonally around the cup. And then here I'm marking out a diamond shape. And then next to it, I'm going to have another diamond. So it'll be side-by-side diamonds. That's 2 different ways of sectioning off your container. You don't have to do that. These are just suggestions. I just want to see some kind of sectioning off. You come up with how you want to do that. I'll give you some creative freedom with that. Now, you may have noticed that my pencil was skipping a little bit as I was marking out those diamonds. And that's because even though Mrs. Nave has a pretty steady hand, the curvature of the cup forced my project to kind of, my pencil to bounce around a little bit. So here I'm taking a manila folder and I'm cutting it up. And you can do this with cardstock as well. And that's going to act almost like a ruler for me, like a straight edge. It's going to act like a straight edge. Now, the area I cut is uneven, so you're going to want to go with the straight edge along the top of the manila folder or piece of paper, whatever you're working with. And you can see I'm just wrapping it around the cup, and I'm going to use that, again, as I stated before, as my straight edge. It's going to act like a ruler, but it's bendy. That's why you want something like it, manila folder material or cardstock, scrapbook paper, heavy paper, that type of thing. And you can see that produced a much straighter line than my free-handed line. Okay. Now, I could even section this off with some horizontal lines as well. So there's many different ways to section off your cup. You come up with what is most pleasing to you. Okay. And, you know, if your first attempt doesn't go well, you can kind of erase away those lines. I'm preparing to stamp inside of one of the diamonds, and I can tell that that part of the project needs some hydration, needs some moisture. So I'm just simply sponging down that one area. No need to sponge down the entire thing just yet. Just focus in on what you plan on stamping in that moment. So in this moment, I plan on stamping that diamond. So I just wanted to rehydrate that particular diamond shape. And I'm stamping with the broken bracelet that you saw in the last video. And I'm just going to fill in an entire diamond shape with that texture, that stamp texture. Just going to go bananas and fill her up. And then in the next diamond, I'll go with a different texture, something totally different. So I want to see a minimum of 2 different stamp tools that you have in your house. And you can see, you know, I didn't like the way that stamped bracelet worked out the second time, so I smeared it away. Clay is pretty forgiving. It'll let you erase, which is kind of nice. And here I'm taking that Coke bottle cap and I'm filling in the other diamond with just non-stop stamping of that Coke bottle. So once you do that with a minimum of 2 to 3 stamped effects, you'll have like this filled up cup, no more plain, smooth, boring walls, which is good.